So it's a quiet session on the surface for the market. Amazing things, though, happening beneath. Although right now, really all eyes are on D.C. as we await the Congressional Budget Office to score President Biden's Build Back Better bill that's now expected sometime later today. Now, we already know that if it's scored honestly, the cost would be about $5 trillion, 4.9, over 10 years, not the advertised $1.75 trillion. But there's so many ways to game this CBO. So even with this official scoring, lawmakers, they're going to have to take really a deeper dive and look at some more sincere numbers. Joining me now, Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace of South Carolina. Congresswoman Mace, we already saw the director of the CBO state that, for instance, building this IRS army would only bring in $125 billion, not $400 billion that they say they would spend. That's $275 billion deficit right there. And, of course, that's a drop in a bucket compared to the $1 trillion if you make permanent these child tax credits, which we know the goal is. So, you talk to your colleagues across the aisle. Are the moderates going to take a stand here, or will it breeze through the House and just have one person, maybe two, standing in the way?
It's hard to say at this point. I'm talking with my friends and allies on the other side of the aisle. I can tell you that I believe moderate Democrats are fearful of what the CBO score is saying right now. We know that it's the 1.75 price tag, as you mentioned, really isn't. It's much higher than that when you look at the longevity and length of time these programs will consume and the amount of money. We were told it wouldn't add to the debt. It's going to hurt the deficit, and all this spending, as you know very well, Charles, is going to add to our inflation woes extensively.
There's no doubt about it. Now, you've actually spoken in the past about fixing government spending habits, right? Getting rid of, quote, sacred cows that are loved by both parties, to be quite frank. I love your optimism when you talk about that, but let's face it, power corrupts absolutely. And it feels like these folks, when they get to D.C., they never want to leave unless they think they're going to lose a re-election. So tell us about these sacred cows. Can we ever honestly get rid of some of them?
With the right people up here, I do believe that we can. As I've mentioned previously, it's been both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, that have raised the debt ceiling consistently over 80 times. And it's been Republicans and Democrats that have added spending. It is problematic. But when you look at the numbers we're facing today, this is beyond reach. And if you look at the pushback in Virginia recently, and even places like New Jersey in the elections a couple of weeks ago, this is not where the American people are at. I think they want sound fiscal policy, reasonable and healthy economy, and this doesn't get us there. Right. So it's just not the right move, and I just don't understand at this point why they're still pushing it through, other than, hey, 12 Democrats have retired for next year, and they're going into what could be a very bloody midterm election next year.
Yeah.